My thoughts going into building this channel were to make videos about anime that are really good to save my audience time. Why would you watch a video on an anime that's a steaming pile? Hey, it's your boy Nems and I'm here to talk about Ayaka. No, not the Genshin Impact character. The anime, a story of bonds and wounds. I know, crazy right? I saw the poster on Crunchyroll, but I had to skip through 8 links of Genshin to get to the My Anime List page about the show. Studio Blanc created this. You know, the studio that has made nothing good except for Uramichi Oniisan. That's a good watch if you haven't seen it. This doesn't set a good premise for thoughts on how the show's gonna turn out. There are some anime original masterpieces like Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. Most recently, my favourite anime originals are Licorice Recoil and Buddy Baddies. Ayaka is different. I like to think that there are not a lot of bad things, they just cater to a certain demographic. With that in mind, Ayaka, a story of bonds and wounds is fucking cheeks. I'm not even mad. I had low expectations going into this show, but throughout my time watching it, I know I had this glazed, uninterested look, but still managed to gradually annoy myself. This video is for anyone who thinks differently about the show before watching the first episode. I'm gonna break down Ayaka, a story of bonds and wounds. But before I go any further, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Helps this video reach out to other people who enjoy this type of content and keeps you up to date with this channel's movements. The plot revolves around Yanagi Yukito, an orphan who graduates from middle school. Ooh, what a way to remember your final day of school, getting rejected, that's tough. His late father's student, Jingi, takes him back to his birthplace called Ayakajima. The place is made up of several islands where strange things called Mitama and dragons are said to exist. We also find out that Yukito has magical abilities which are all some form of affinity to water. This all poses the question as to why now of all times he's been summoned back. The show is only 2 episodes in at the time of recording, so it may seem like I'm jumping the gun. But so far there has only been one moment where I was on the verge of being on the edge of my seat. I was hoping for the first episode to come with a gripping action scene towards the end, only to end up with overwhelming disappointment instead. Even the setup for it was there, even though the stage was lukewarm to say the least. The second episode is so slow it belongs in a slice of life series. All it does is flesh out a point about Jingi that we already gathered in the first episode. The characters are about as vanilla as they can get. Yukito doesn't have a handle on his hereditary powers. Gee, who else do we know like that? He's kinda reserved due to his abilities causing trouble whenever his emotions flare up. And that's about it for our main character. Jinji is careless and an arsehole who tries too hard to be the latter when he's more of the former in an innocent way. Haruwaki, another student of Yukito's father, is eccentric but well-mannered. Their dynamic is somewhat believable, but all it is just surface level display of relationships. The other characters are a little better than average NPCs. While they do give off some amiable small town vibes, they don't offer much more than that. Similar to my take on the characters, with one exception, there aren't terrible displays of art, but I cannot defend the show's ability to confuse me during the few action scenes. There is a flashback scene that Yukito clearly recalls to Jingi, but it was shown with still image transitions. I'm not a media expert, but it just makes me think that there wasn't enough to fully sequence that little action scene. There was a cool split-second shot where Yukito was forced to demonstrate his powers at the end of the first episode, but it ended up feeling like an opportunity missed considering it was the main character's first major supernatural fight. Even if the opponent is a CGI joke of a dressed up blob of water. Or maybe they were aware of that and didn't bother. Regardless of the studio's reasoning behind it, my lack of excitement for the next episode was still there. I wanted to make a coherent defense for the show, so I rewatched what I thought was my favourite scene. What I found out was that I imagined half a set piece. And no, not out of thin air. I mean that I thought that the best few scenes of a different scene were part of the scene in question. How sad is that? I somehow imagined a better scene than what was actually there. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. Comment down below what you think. But what you'll see in every action sequence is a move being telegraphed, followed by a weird transition with stock effects to show the move already completed. Just generic low budget shit, I guess. The music doesn't seem out of place. There was minimal impact on how I felt, but that's not to the fault of the original score itself. The same can be said for the sound design. The power-ups sound cool, but because of everything else, it sets you up to be disappointed. I do feel that this anime is meant for somebody out there, but there are going to be a lot of people who do not like this show. And this is not because the show is bad. Well, it is. It's just that its main offense is that it's just so fucking boring. This bit was funny though.
What a drop kick!
At the most, like me, you're gonna have just minor intrigue that stems from looking at one of the posters. The third episode could be better as it fleshes out the plot a bit more, but I don't feel it will be enough to change my thoughts on the show, with its lackluster setup and quality already displayed. But if you watched episode 1 and liked it, you're probably not gonna listen to this. So I just wanna say, when you do get to episode 4 or 5 and say to yourself, wow, this show sucks dick, I hope you remember me. And that's all for this video. If you liked the show, leave a like. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Comment what you think. Roll safe.